The Alabama Farmers Federation and the Alabama Farmers Cooperative proudly present Simply Southern with your hosts Jim Allen and Mary Johnson.
Good morning and welcome to Simply Southern. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. Coming up on today's show, you'll meet a 12-year-old who knows more about farming than a lot of grown-ups. From planting to picking, this young man is involved in every aspect of his family's produce operation.
At a young age, he's already able to make change and do business just as my wife or I would do business and make deals just as we make deals. And that's an experience I know of no other way that he could get.
And you don't have to be a cowboy to appreciate a beautiful horse. We'll visit the Alabama Horse Fair, where participants are celebrating all things equine.
No matter whether you ride dressage or trail, these horses all have some commonality. And if we start addressing our needs as a common need, we're far more effective.
Later, Sidney Phelps of Bonnie Plants is in studio with us to talk about things you need to consider for your backyard garden.
But coming up next, we're headed to a ranch that looks like it should be on the plains of the Old West, but it's actually located near Anniston. We'll take you to Alabama's home where the buffalo roam when Simply Southern continues.
What one thing can you say about your local quality co-op store? You can trust us. You get what you need for your farm, for your lawn and garden, and the safest products for your pets. We're locally owned and operated, and you can trust that we care about our community and the people in it. So if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, the Quality Co-op Store has exactly what you need to get the job done. All this plus friendly, knowledgeable advice. Your Quality Co-op Store. There's one near you.
The blessing of Alabama agriculture is more than 3 meals a day. It means independence from foreign nations, freedom to pursue other jobs and activities, conservation of natural resources, and preservation of family values. For 93 years, the Alabama Farmers Federation has brought together the men and women whose work fills our plates and fuels the American dream.
Today's farming operation is more complex than ever before, with precision agriculture becoming an integral piece to farm management. AccuField provides precision agriculture technologies and site-specific management capabilities in a simplified and interactive format, helping you put all the pieces of the farming puzzle together. For more information, visit us at www.accufield.com.
We're going to need an electrician.
Rita and Mike were replacing a built-in microwave.
Don't scratch the stove.
Okay.
All right, let's go get something to eat.
Smart and beautiful.
When Rita called, she said, "You're not going to believe what happened." I said, "Rita, because we had your regular Alpha policy review, your damage is covered."
Glad we left the insurance to a pro.
Good call.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
Well, we didn't scratch the stove.
It's hardly unusual to see cattle grazing in pastures across Alabama. But in Calhoun County, one ranch is turning some heads, raising livestock of a less common nature. The bison once roamed the American plains by the millions. For Native American tribes and newly arriving European settlers of the pioneer West, bison herds were such a vital source of food and materials they were nearly driven into extinction. In the last couple of decades, the bison has made a comeback, partly from increased demand for its lean, nutritious meat.
It's a much leaner meat than beef, about 97% fat-free. You get the benefit of deer basically with the taste of beef.
Oh, that's very good. Good. Very, very good. Gooder than snuff. DJ White and his wife Misha run Boundary Line Bison Ranch in Piedmont, Alabama. DJ began raising bison in 1998. While his family had a background in raising cattle, DJ wanted to try something different.
Westerns was a big part of it. They just always interested in me a lot more. Maybe it's because they didn't interest somebody else, I don't know.
The Whites have seen an increased interest in their bison in recent years as a health-conscious public seeks out different options in the food they buy.
We have a lot of people that have been buying meat from out west, and they're just tickled to death that we have some here locally. You can get the bison meat sometimes in the grocery stores, Publix and Kroger, but our prices are better. And it's local and it's all grass-fed. You know where it came from.
As well as individual sales, the ranch also provides meat to several restaurants and country clubs in Alabama and Georgia. The White's bison have also attracted notice from some local Native American groups as well.
We have started carrying meat with some powwows, and also we've become more well-known with them. But we do want the natives to know that we're here, and you know, I'm part of a state-recognized tribe myself. We bless our animals, we take good care of them, and we treat them with honor.
Raising these powerful animals comes with its own set of challenges. Herds are slower to build than domestic cattle, and their proud nature requires a lot of patience.
Some people would probably call them contrary. You can't force them to do things. You have to kind of learn to get them to do what you want them to do.
We love to watch them. I can sit out on the hillside and just watch them, especially when the little calves are playing. They're hilarious, or the bulls are acting up.
The bison have understandably drawn more curiosity in the Piedmont community than most livestock. This has created a unique opportunity for the ranch not only to connect with their neighbors, but to educate future generations on the connection these animals have had in our nation's history.
I go to schools a lot and do a little demonstration. I'll take a hide on a stand so they can kind of get an idea of the actual size of the animal, and let the kids see what the bison look like, and basically let them know what the heritage was, that years ago, that's all people had to eat.
The numbers of bison in America once fell to merely hundreds. The vast herds of the Old West had been relegated to national parks and zoos. Ironically, the same demand that pushed the bison to the brink of extinction has played a part in its recovery. Population estimates today exceed 500,000 animals, in part due to the efforts of farms like Boundary Line Bison Ranch.
We're just trying to build something that'll last, and good, healthy food. Some people don't like the idea of eating them, but that's what helps keep them existing, because people have a need for them.
According to the National Bison Association, more than 90% of bison in North America today can be found on private ranches. Yellowstone National Park is home to the largest free-range population at approximately 3,500 animals.
That's really great to hear that the numbers have rebounded so much recently, since they were so close to extinction at one point.
And they're delicious.
Well, good to know.
Most farmers will tell you that farming is in their blood. Coming up next, you'll meet a young man who is a perfect example of that type of person. At just 12 years old, he plays a crucial role in his family's farming operation.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy. Brought to you by the Alabama Beef Checkoff Program. Fire up the grills. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
For nearly 50 years, the electric cooperatives of Alabama have been giving young people an opportunity to visit our nation's capital, where they learn about the value of electric cooperatives and the importance of grassroots advocacy. Top students join with thousands of others touring monuments, landmarks, and meeting with their congressional delegation. The Rural Electric Youth Tour program. Just one more way the electric cooperatives of Alabama are investing in the future of our state.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
He's up at dawn, checks the oil on the old tractor, and then it's out to the fields to clear out the brush before hauling the spring harvest to market. It sounds like a typical day for most of the state's farmers, but the focus of Samantha Carpenter's story this week is anything but typical.
While many 12-year-olds are out playing Little League ball or video games, James Calvert has a different perspective on life, farming.
It's just fun to me. I enjoy doing it like my daddy.
We raise around 30 acres of vegetables. Peaches, strawberries, and tomatoes are our three largest crops. We're mainly a retail operation. Everybody in our family is involved in our operation, and it just sort of clicked with him, and he's become an integral part of our operation.
While other kids in Coleman County wait for the school bus to arrive, you'll find James Calvert out in the fields. Although he maintains a regular homeschooling schedule, days for this young man are quite different than for other children his age.
You get up, you go to the field, and normally Daddy and one of his buddies will be cutting cabbage, and me and my buddy will go pick our stuff, and then we'll go back and wash our stuff, and then come back and start hauling squash and cucumbers, and then later on in the day we'll pick watermelons and cantaloupes, and then we'll load the truck. That's normally our daily routine.
From clearing land and picking crops to maintenance of equipment and selling at the market, James is involved at every level of his family's farm.
He does most all the equipment work. He does all the grounds maintenance. He can do basically anything that I can do that I'll let him do, I'll put it that way. Sometimes he wants to do things that he's not quite of age enough to do.
Agriculture runs in the Calvert family. For several generations, young Calverts have grown up in the demanding pace of life on a farm. Although James plays an essential role in the family's business, his parents hope the work leaves him with something valuable for the years ahead.
Jeremy and I have both been trying to teach him a good work ethic. It's not going to hurt you to get out and work hard. I think that's one of the benefits, and also just dealing with people, being around people that are of every age and not just their own age.
At a young age, he's already able to make change and do business just as my wife or I would do business and make deals just as we make deals. And that's an experience I know of no other way that he could get, other than like if he worked at Walmart at 12 or something to that effect.
Naturally, when you're 12, building character isn't immediately appreciated.
When it's 170 degrees and you're throwing 60-pound watermelons, it's not easy.
While farm work takes up much of James Calvert's day, he still has time for more typical 12-year-old activities.
We homeschool our son. During the wintertime, he goes school hours just like anybody else, but in the spring and summer and fall months, his homeschooling is flexible enough that he still gets helps us do a lot in the field, but we still make sure that school comes first.
He's got a good many different friends, the homeschool group that we're with. He's met several that way, and the group that we're with is all over North Alabama and a little bit into southern Tennessee, and so he meets kids from all over the place. We've also been doing a homeschool skate that they have up here at the skating rink, and he's really enjoyed that, learning how to skate.
Not many 12-year-old boys list a greenhouse project among their summer plans. Fewer still concern themselves with plans further down the road. If you ask James Calvert what his future holds,
I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I hope to farm like my daddy, or cattle farm like my papa.
For Simply Southern, I'm Samantha Carpenter.
When he's not farming, James tells us he enjoys bowling as well as skating. But if he's not out in the fields with his father or catching up on schoolwork, you'll most likely find him on another farm where he helps his grandfather with his cattle.
When I was 12, I complained about feeding a dog.
I know, I was the same way, but James is a really hard worker. Up next on Simply Southern, we're going to hit the trail to the Alabama Horse Fair, where equine enthusiasts of all types come together to share their love for these great animals.
It's been said, without hard work, nothing grows but weeds. This is certainly true in agriculture. At the Alabama Farmers Federation, we know success is not born of fancy words, grand ideas, or good intentions. It's a result of wise planning, bold leadership, dedicated work, and blessings from above.
Alabama wheat and feed grain farmers grow food, fuel, and freedom. Their harvest helps feed Alabama's multi-million-dollar livestock, catfish, and poultry industries while reducing America's dependence on foreign countries for energy and food. By combining their strength with farmers of other commodities, feed grain growers are fueling the economic growth of Alabama communities.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie plants, so you'll know how to grow.
For nearly 50 years, the electric cooperatives of Alabama have been giving young people an opportunity to visit our nation's capital, where they learn about the value of electric cooperatives and the importance of grassroots advocacy. Top students join with thousands of others touring monuments, landmarks, and meeting with their congressional delegation. The Rural Electric Youth Tour program. Just one more way the electric cooperatives of Alabama are investing in the future of our state.
Alabama soybean farmers help fuel the state's economy. Soybeans are used to make clean, renewable biodiesel and are a key ingredient in feed for poultry, catfish, and livestock. Soybeans are used in dozens of products we use every day. But best of all, soybean farmers generate $258 million and more than 4,000 jobs for Alabama's economy, all while helping conserve our natural resources. Explore the power of soy.
Throughout history, horses have served man in a variety of ways. Today, they're used primarily for leisure, but once a year, the Alabama Horse Council brings enthusiasts of all breeds and uses together. Kevin Worthington takes us to the Alabama Horse Fair, where they celebrate all things equine.
For Rebecca Clark and her daughter Ella, riding horses is a family activity.
It's something that she and I can do together as a mother and daughter. I have 4 sons. She's my only daughter, and we just love it. And it gives us time to get out of the house when they're doing their deer hunting and all. It gives us something to go and do together as girls.
The Clarks join thousands of others who have attended the Alabama Horse Fair over the past 20 years. It's the only event of its kind in the Southeast, and organizers say there's something here for everybody.
I want it now. This year we have some of the top clinicians in the country. We have a parade of breeds with about 88 horses. We have a sanctioned modeled horse show. We have an Ask the Vet booth where vets come and volunteer their time, as do the Ask the Farrier booth participants.
For horse lovers, many of the instructional clinics are amazing. And this event exposes them to horses they would otherwise never have the opportunity to see.
We've got dressage people here, and then we've got ropers, and we've got ponies, and then we've got a Parisian stallion. I thought I knew horses. I don't. Some of these breeds are just unique. We've got the standards, the Arabians, the quarter horses, the walking horses. We've got Morgans, we've got Icelandics. I actually looked at some of the horses that came in, and I actually did not know the breed. It's very extensive.
Pegram says the annual horse fair carries out the mission of the Alabama Horse Council.
No matter whether you ride dressage or trail, these horses all have some commonality. And if we start addressing our needs as a common need, we're far more effective.
The horse industry provides about a $2.5 billion impact on Alabama's economy, with the vast majority of that coming from trail riders. But for Rebecca and Ella Grace Clark, it's not about the money.
She has learned so much responsibility, and it's a fun responsibility because she has a horse of her own, and she loves him, and she loves to just take care of him and feed him.
When you go outside, it just feels like you're in a different world when you're riding on them, because you have all the open land to just run around and be free, and it's just a lot of fun.
For Simply Southern, I'm Kevin Worthington.
The 2016 Alabama Horse Fair will be at Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery on March 5th and 6th.
You know, Mary, I've been to that thing several times. My favorite part is when they parade all the different breeds through the arena. It's just incredible.
They're beautiful animals and really an entertaining event. After the break, Sidney Phelps with Bonnie Plants is out of the garden this week and joining us here in the studio to talk about important considerations for your backyard garden.
This seems unbelievable, but I promise it's true.
What's with the buzzer? Oh, that's a raven. That's a good omen. He knows we're coming back with dinner.
Well, that bird had a bunch of friends. And when Scott got back to the camper...
Well, that was a bust! What? Scott! Wait, what did you do? It's raining inside.
His new camper was a total loss, but his Alpha policy covered it.
It's that bird.
For service and savings, call Alpha.
Making sure you're covered?
Good call.
There's nothing quite like sitting down to a home-cooked meal with fresh vegetables from the garden. With Bonnie Plants from your local quality co-op store, you can enjoy the freshest vegetables right from your own backyard. And no matter if you're a raised bed gardener, a rose gardener, or if you farm hundreds of acres, your quality co-op store has exactly what you need to get the most out of your plants. You'll always find what you need, plus friendly, knowledgeable advice at your local quality co-op store. There's one near you.
Support healthy food from local farmers by purchasing a Farming Feeds Alabama license plate. The tag funds education and promotion efforts, including Ag in the Classroom, agricultural scholarships, and youth programs. Get your Ag tag today.
Brought to you by the Alabama Beef Checkoff Program. Fire up the grills. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
We believe a plant should be more than a plant. This one is. It's all you need for your garden to succeed. Because it's a Bonnie plant. It represents hundreds of varieties of Bonnie's quality veggies and herbs. But more, it's from generations of Bonnie people who are passionate about sharing their love of gardening with you. Look for this little Bonnie plant and a whole family of plants like it in your garden center. Bonnie Plants, so you'll know how to grow.
Welcome back to Simply Southern.
Folks, we're pleased to have in our studio again from Bonnie Plant Farm, Sid Phelps. Sid, if a newbie wanted to start a vegetable garden, what are some of the basic and manual tools they might consider?
Well, first off, the biggest thing is they're going to have to decide what type of garden they want to have, whether it be a container garden, a raised bed garden, or conventional just growing in the ground. They're going to have to look at their irrigation. They're going to have to look at, as far as tools go, typical, trowels, any type of pruners, all the way down from hand tools of garden trowels, garden hose, shovels, just to get everything prepared. Hoe diggers are great for tomatoes to make sure you get them extra deep in the ground as well. They'll also have to consider their water source. What type of irrigation are they going to use? Soaker hose, drip irrigation, are they going to water it by hand themselves or some type of overhead watering?
Now, another thing, a tool that a new gardener may need is something to protect either strawberries or blueberries from those birds, because birds love berries. What could a new gardener do? One thing, especially with berries, with it being a fruit, you don't really want them to touch the ground. So mulch, straw are always the best things for those. You can go to hardware stores and find that soft mesh netting. That works great to keep birds out, as well as other critters that are all the time trying to get at the fruits. You can easily get PVC pipe, bend it over, stake it in the ground, and then run
the netting over top and secure it. That way it'll keep the birds out.
Do you prefer hoeing or mulching?
I like mulching. With my gardens, you know, they're not that large, and most of it is herb gardens, but mulch just makes it a lot easier because once you get the base layer down, you know, a good 2 to 3 inches, you don't have to necessarily worry about it so much as the preventative, you know, maintenance of keeping it down. Also like to lay ground cover down below the mulch with a lot of products. That way it puts down that protective barrier even more.
So you mentioned that you have to decide what you want, whether a raised bed or planting in the soil. Are there any benefits to a raised bed over planting directly into soil?
There are benefits. You don't have to do a soil test with a raised bed. That's one thing. You can get the potting soil and you can amend that each year with new potting soil and new fertilizers like manures and get everything balanced out. Raised beds are also easy to access. You don't have to worry about keeping the grass out, weeding and everything like that. With a raised bed, you can put it near a water source. You basically have the methods of putting it where you want it, and you can also control where the sunlight hits it because you're laying it out in your garden where that item needs to be. As far as access to a bed, you can turn the crops a lot easier. So you can transfer from your early spring crops all the way to your summer crops very easily throughout the process.
And now for any gardeners who want more information, you guys have an app that they could use, and thank you again for being here. You can also visit bonnieplants.com to get more information for your backyard garden. And then to find out more about the stories we featured today, visit their individual websites.
Boundary Line Bison Ranch in Piedmont, Alabama has a lot of information and videos on the farm's Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/boundarylinebison.
The Calvert Farm does not have a website, but if you're looking for fresh produce, you can find a list of farmers markets and roadside stands at fma.alabama.gov. And for more information on the Alabama Horse Fair or the organization that sponsors the event, go to alabamahorsecouncil.org.
To stay up to date on what we're working on here at Simply Southern, be sure to like our Facebook page or visit simplysouthern.tv.net. Join us for Simply Southern again next week. We'll show you how agriculture has transformed from a relatively simple job to a high-tech occupation.
And we'll feature an outstanding program for children with long-term illnesses. The Miracle Rodeo gives them some time to forget about their troubles and just have some fun.
Thanks for watching Simply Southern today. I'm Jim Allen.
And I'm Mary Johnson. We hope to see you again next week.
Simply Southern is a production of the Alabama Farmers Cooperative and the Alabama Farmers Federation.